It's got a mind of its own. Yeah. Coming. Huh. Camera's on. Morning, Todd. We're having a glitch with the computer. Clock won't.
Working through the computer right now,
Is it? No.
so there's our technology. At least we got that part of it.
Yeah.
Heard that COVID is back.
Me too.
I didn't see my daughter, so I haven't been around her, but she works down in Fort Wayne and she got COVID. She went in and got tested. She had like a fever and a sore throat, and we didn't think it was COVID, but when she went in and got tested, she tested positive for it. So
Yeah. We went to the doctor last
Must
week
be
and he said
back.
the same thing.
yeah,
Well, the health department has a
that can okay.
Right.
Probably helpful that they have that then. Yes.
well, actually, I was ago, and boxes in them. And see one for myself, you know.
Yes. There you go.
Thank you very much.
I can't tell if it's recording or not.
Test, 1, 2, 3. I mean, I can hear it now.
Yeah. We've got the mics. Yeah, but I got the mics before it records anyway. There we go. There we go. Okay, everyone, we are on the clock. Mic's on. I'll call this meeting to order, DeKalb County Commissioners. And today's date is August 14th, 2023. 5 minutes late, Dottie, but here you go. Off
I'll
and
talk
running.
fast. Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's not going to be the Larry and Dottie show because Larry's over trimming a tree behind the 9th Street Annex.
Oh, is
So
it?
anyway, well, first off, let's talk about yet another contract that we need to sign. This time it's through the Standard. And so Jody has it over there. I will let Bill go ahead and read what it is. I'm hoping that this is the last one. You know, paperwork, it just kind of, So anyway, I'm sure that you guys will need to take a vote on it. The standard, yes. So that would be our dental, vision, life, and disability vendor.
Okay. Make me a motion, somebody?
I'll move to approve the contract with Standard Insurance for dental and vision and president to sign.
Second.
A motion and a second. Are there any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about the new handbook addendum that from last Monday. I was able to get that out to our employees. The travel reimbursement policy summary that will go into our handbook. And so we are making inroads with that. We are on the other one, well, the most recent nursing mothers addendum. We are still waiting for a few scattered employees who were on FMLA to return theirs. Still waiting for one department on the cybersecurity, that addendum. So we're making inroads with all of those. When it comes to hiring, well, let's talk a little bit. Our Veteran Services Officer has selected someone from her interviews, and I'm sure that she will be scheduling an appointment to introduce him to all of you. His name is Brandon Lee, and I'm not exactly sure when he's starting. I think it will probably be the week before Travis actually officially leaves, because he's, I think that's August the 28th. So that will be a nice transition, and thank you again for approving that there could be a little bit of an overlap. It just helps the continuity and the flow. So that's good. The Development Services now has a new code enforcement official. His name is Zach Cashmere. He works for full-time for Auburn Fire Department, and he will start fairly soon, and I know Chris will bring him in to introduce him when schedules coincide. I think that's probably going to be the 28th of August. And so we're excited to have him start. A bonus is that his supervisor at Auburn Fire is Paul White. So we have the benefit of a little continuity there, informally, and we're excited about that. The two of them are excited about that also, and so is Chris.
I spell his last name.
Oh, Kashmer.
Okay.
Cashmere. Yep. So that's a load off of our shoulders there. Even more so, the health department registered nurse. One has been selected, and background checks going through, and so I will wait for Cheryl to make that announcement when everything is all clear. But that is the biggest load off of our shoulders, I would think. So now comes the really heavy lifting with the training and getting her immersed in that department. She has a really great background in both the clinical and then also office, which will be great. So Cheryl is excited. The department, I know, is excited, and, 2 thumbs up on that one. Highway Department, well, we're still plugging away. We get, maybe 1 or 2 inquiries every week at least on Indeed. So whether or not they actually go to, and Ben and I talked last week, we're going to change it up a little bit. Ben has historically requested that people stop by the Highway Department to pick up an application packet, and we're now doing it so that they can inquire with me, and we will send it out, or they can stop by our office if they happen to be by. But this way, a lot of people do things via email, and we are happy to send out the application. Now it's up to them to turn it back in. So hopefully that changes things around a little bit. Sunny Meadows had a housekeeper all set, and that person contacted us and said, oh, well, thanks, but no thanks. So that was a full-time housekeeper. So I do believe that Angela was going to go and look at, the other resumes and applications that she had gotten in for that position. So we're not quite ready to advertise for that one. However, she did ask me to advertise the 3rd shift part-time posting position. So that one is out and about. Well, and we've gotten, I'd say, about 5 since I posted that last Thursday. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Community Corrections, I do believe that they are interviewing for that probation officer, and we'll see about that. They still have the maintenance position open, but they are kind of running with that position, making it full-time, sharing it with Sunny Meadows and with Central Communications. So we've left it kind of out there in cyberspace just in case. So and we will see what happens there. And last but not least, the sheriff asked us to post for merit deputy, and I'm sure that is as he has gotten a few in, and they're training, and now he's ready to pull in another one. And Brady can. He's nodding at me, so yes, that's the case. It's kind of like Central. You bring in 2 people, that's about enough that, you can train, so that they really get immersed in the duties, and they go through all the training, and you start diluting if you have too many going through training all at once. So I know Central still has 1 position open, and we're, holding off on that one because we have 2 in training who started in July. So that's still, we're only mid-August, so we're okay there. Probably the last thing that I wanted to talk about is our OSHA training. And last week, I sent an email to all department heads regarding some training that IPEP, our work comp carrier, our insurance company, has on their website. And invitations were sent to all department heads and elected officials to take this introduction to OSHA. We have a lot of people who are in positions of leadership who haven't really been exposed much to safety training. And so this will be a very good foundation as we move forward with the safety committee on more training for our employees. So we'll have that. Another thing, speaking of training, historically it's been the fall when we've done our anti-harassment update for everyone, and we are taking a look at another option for anti-harassment training. It is actually through IPEP. They have some classes, and they have, and they're not in-person classes, they're webinars, and they can target supervisors. And so you have supervisory training, and then you would also have, say, line staff training. So we're taking a look at that. And if that's the case, we could possibly drop the program that we currently have in place and go with IPEP. Now, the training that we already do is also electronic, but it costs us $100 a year. IPEP, it's included with the premium that we already pay. So that's why we're going to take a look at that and see if it as I'm sure it'll be a quality program if that works for us. So, hey, $100 is $100,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. And that is really all I have for you guys. What do you have for me?
Anything for Dottie, gentlemen?
Not a thing.
Not a thing. Susan?
Susan.
Jody?
Susan substitute. Thank you, Jody.
Yeah,
Right.
just don't have it.
I know. Great. Well, you guys know where I am. Andrew, you have anything for me?
Oh, I don't have anything for you today.
Well, okay. All right. Well, I have, I think I've mentioned your name a couple times when I've had department heads who have been asking about, there's something, and it's like, maybe you ought to talk to the county attorney about
Very
it.
good.
So
Thank you.
it's never said in vain or, whatever. So, okay.
Well, good. Well,
Yeah.
good.
Okay. So, like I said, you guys know where I am. See ya.
Okay, thanks, Dottie. Jody, do you have anything urgent? No? Okay. Sure, if you want to come up and get you going and get you back to work. Enough sitting back there loafing.
Good morning. Brady Thomas, Sheriff of DeKalb County. I spoke with the commissioners on June 3rd in reference to DeKalb Central Schools' desire to add a second SRO. The district's safety director, Austin Harrison, is also here this morning in case there's any questions here at the end. But to quickly recap, the Sheriff's Office has a memorandum of understanding with the district to provide one full-time SRO. The school reimburses the county for the SRO's salary, and the SRO is dedicated to the school full-time year-round. The school would like to add a second SRO under what is essentially the same MOU, where the school would also pay the second SRO's salary. After presenting the information to you on June 3rd, you requested to know if the school district would also pay for the benefits of the second SRO. A couple of days later, I had a meeting with Superintendent Steve Teeters and relayed your request to him. On July 25th, the school board had a meeting and the board approved paying $60,500 per SRO. That would a bit more than cover the SRO's salary. This agreement would not only be a benefit to the school, but also a benefit to the citizens of DeKalb County. The SRO that is already in place at the school is primarily dedicated to the high school. And because of all the summertime activities that take place there, the SRO is there through the entire summer. The second SRO would be primarily assigned to the middle school. They would only be there at school while the teachers and the students are present. So on non-school days and during the summer, this person would be an additional patrol deputy for the sheriff's office. I believe the proposed MOU is reasonable. The school is paying the salary of the SRO and getting the additional benefit of the SRO in the building. The county would be paying for partial of the benefits and getting an additional patrol deputy close to half of the year. I sent the MOU to Auditor Sleeper early last week, so you should have a copy of that. Today, I'm asking the commissioners vote to move forward to provide DeKalb Central Schools with a second SRO under the proposed MOU.
Comments, questions for the sheriff?
I'm a big SRO supporter, so I'm certainly supportive of your recommendation.
Todd?
Fine with me.
Okay. I don't think I have any problem with it, as, you know, we're going to get that part-time deputy for the cost of benefits. And so I think it would work out. Dave, you have a comment?
I've got 4 children in school, elementary.
Name and. name
I
and-
forgot. Dave Holt, 1297 County Road, 19 Waterloo. I've got 4 kids in school, elementary, middle, and high school. If I had it my way, you'd have an officer in every building all day long. So appreciate what you're doing. My concern is the process we just went through to get to here. I don't understand why we had the sheriff as a mediator negotiating terms of payment. Why wasn't that done by a representative of the county, not the sheriff, and the superintendent?
Because it's the sheriff's department. He
Oh, I
pretty
understand
much-
that.
He pretty much has a say.
But it's a bigger thing than he's got to implement it. He's got to take care of it. He's got to train people. He's got all this on his plate to do already. He could bring the memorandum of understanding, but why wouldn't we always talk? I hear every meeting there's a liaison to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't one commissioner just call the superintendent and say, "Hey, what are we going to do? Move forward because we need to get more. What can we do together?" We got the 2 biggest tax entities in the county, the government and the school. That's where the majority of our taxes go. I wouldn't expect to put a third person as a mediator of cost. I understand it's his department and he's going to administrate it. But it's got to be a community effort, not the sheriff's effort, to bring SROs to our schools. It's just a thought on the process. That's all I care about.
Okay, any comments? Todd, Mike,
I can comment on that. Is
great name, address.
Rick Ring, DeKalb County Council. This is a position that, as an elected official, it is his responsibility. Commissioners need to be involved. The council needs to be involved. The county attorney needs to be involved. But the lead on this has to be the elected official and the school board. Everybody else has got a piece in it, but that is the process. And right now, there's a debate within the legislature, within the state, as to whether or not that is going to be something that continues. Actually, the issue came up because of a sheriff's negotiated contract in Lake County. So it is a topic of conversation. But the way things exist right now, he is an elected official, and that is his responsibility. You have to have a part in it as the county administrators. Council has to have a part in it because of the financial aspect of it, and it all has to be approved by the county attorney to make sure it's been done correctly. So that's why it's being done this way.
And the sheriff's office is mentioned specifically as a party of the MOU, so
Yeah.
I think that's proper.
And although he doesn't have the final say, he is the one that we
It's his-
go to for the information on his side,
It's
and
his-
of course, the school on the other side.
his
So
deputy.
it's- Yeah,
And from the county attorney's standpoint, the sheriff is an elected official. He's not just a department head.
right.
There's a difference there. That's a,
It's an
it
office.
would be, yeah, it'd be different maybe if it was the highway department or some other.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Appointed position is a bit
Far
different.
different. I'll make a motion to approve the sheriff's request to add an additional SRO to DeKalb Central using the existing MOU.
The presented MOU, the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I will second that.
A motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Thank you very much for your support with that.
You bet.
Thank you, Brady.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Okay. We have some time to burn. Let's do claims quick. No claims.
Yep.
We have no travel. Let's do minutes. Everybody read the minutes.
Read 'em, and I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. Motion carries. Okay, we have a guest visitor. Okay. Covered bridge certification. Do we that online? You okay with that? Did you get a chance to look at that, Andrew?
I don't think I was aware of that.
I think
Right,
it's,
I mean, I looked at the email from Susan, but I don't think I realized what that was. Is that something that happens every few years, or is that a? Okay.
yeah. I think we do it every year, don't we? Yeah.
I'll pull it up here, I guess I didn't realize what that was. Is that the certification for 2023?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't even realize that was something for me to review. Sorry about that.
I don't know that it's not that,
We're just saying how many
Oh.
covered bridges we have, basically,
Which is just one.
One.
Okay,
yeah.
then I would approve that.
Okay, motion?
I'll move to approve the covered bridge certification and sign as required.
Yeah, I was just making, yeah, we all signed, so I will second that.
A motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same, motion carries. Okay, we have a visitor who'd like to address the board. It's actually a drainage creek clearing issue, but since we've got two of the board on, the commissioners, I told him to go ahead and come in. I thought we'd have time. So Mr. Lewis, if you want to address the board.
There you go.
Morning.
Good morning.
Would you turn that mic on? There's a blue light should come on.
How's that?
There you go.
There.
All right.
There we go.
I'm sorry. Yes, Don Lewis with Water Ops. Just want to give a story or an understanding of who we are and what we do. It's been here for almost 7 years doing this program. We were asked by the previous surveyor's office to come in and maintain the waterways of Cedar Creek and the ditches and the drains. And we've done that for the last, again, almost 7 years, maintaining these, patrolling them, taking things out, removing them the way that it's been asked to by all the other agencies in the state and federal. And so, again, what we've done is we've invested a lot of time and money into equipment and manpower to do these jobs. The surveyor's office will come in and take a look at what we do or inspect it, and then we turn our invoices in, and it goes through that process for payment. Basically, again, we go into a spot, we remove it, we take it to the compost and have them utilize the wood that we pull out. We get in the water, cut it out. We do things that have practices or what we want to do now instead of what's happened in the past with heavy equipment in the drains or in the creeks and causing a lot of issues and problems when DNR and what have you. We've created great relationships with all these agencies, DNR, IDEM, Corps of Engineers, etc. And one of the programs that we created was in hiring. And we had a hard time finding people that were interested in doing what we do with snakes and spiders and what have you. And we came across the Harton House and the Serenity House. And we saw that there was people there that were wanting to work, and we've hired roughly 5 people from those programs, and every one of them have been very hard workers, getting their life together. And matter of fact, we have one with us today that's just graduated from the program through Drug Corps, and she's a testament to how well that program is and how we're assisting, helping them get their life together and create an income and do the right things by hard work. And so we brought Tori up here. If you can ask her questions or whatever if you'd like to at some point in time. And then my son and I has also started this with me. We were both been out here for all these years doing this stuff. And so those are some of the things we've been doing for a long, long time here. And just recently we've had some concerns. We have not had any communication with the surveyor's office since you guys or somebody appointed a new surveyor. And we've tried to communicate. We've tried to go over there and visit and meet, but it's just been very difficult. And we hear rumors and things internally from the inspectors that come out and see us that there's some a lot of changes and a lot of bringing friends in to take care of issues and what have you, with no communication with us. And we're just concerned that the hard work and the jobs that we do for this community and the county are kind of being left out, or us being left out, and have them do something else. So we're just want to present ourselves and our concern that we think changes are happening that we don't know about. We've heard that they're through the minutes on the drainage board last week that they went down an area and saw a couple trees, told us it was clear. We went down through it and found a couple large trees that were of issue, and that we found out that they wanted to hire somebody, a contractor, to come in and do this, when that's been our responsibility for 7 years, but just not been told here recently. So we just have some concerns on some direction, and we'll also meet with the drainage board. We also want to talk with the Cedar Creek board also, and just try to understand what, ensure that we're doing the right thing and continue to do the right thing, and try and create some communication to help everybody do what the job's requesting. So I just wanted to get it in front of you guys and let you know what we're going through. We've spoken with several other contractors, and there's just concerns on some communications, and we want to try and reach out some more this week and see what we can do to correct our concerns and go from there. So anybody has any questions or thoughts for us?
You bid these jobs usually when they call you to do remove some logs or what have you? Do you bid it and then get the job, or do you just
No. Well,
you send a bill when you're done? Is there any price negotiation at that time, or how does it work?
Well, from the day we started, Mr. Klein at the time came in and said, hey, here's what we need. We need somebody to maintain these areas because there's a lot of log jams, there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of destruction of property, bank stabilization issues, things like that. And he says, this is what we're willing to pay. We'll pay $45 an hour for labor, and we'll pay $100 an hour for equipment. $100 an hour for equipment. I have done that. I've not changed the prices to this date. We've kept that the whole 7 years. We turn on our hours through an invoice. They'll come out and inspect us, and then it goes through the process and gets paid through the purchasing. There's been no bidding. There's just us coming in here and maintaining these waterways. And today we've not heard anything different. So our job is to go out here and maintain these waterways and continue to do that.
You didn't have a contract then, you just had an agreement of 45 and 100,
We had an
right?
agreement. We had an agreement that stated this is what we want you to do.
Right, yeah.
And this is what the cost is, and this is what the labor, and this is what the equipment is.
Okay.
And that's where we're at.
I'll ask Mike, what was your understanding of what the they presented last Thursday as far as those, the gentleman wanting to do this on a part-time basis, like on Saturdays or something that was more.
Outside of, that was Tyler, outside of his work schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Glenn was asking about buying a chainsaw and something else for the surveyor's office.
yeah. I know they talked about a drone to go out and check these ditches.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't,
drone was the other.
yeah,
was
that
other
was
thing,
the
yeah.
other thing. But of course, there was the question about, and we talked a little bit about, can they do that as a part-time additional job, which probably not. They'd have to be a contractor to do this and form a company.
Much the same as what we talked about with community corrections with that
Yeah.
position. Have to be a separate offer.
And that was brought up to us. Again, there's some discomfort internally in the office, and we have inspectors that come out and watch us and see what we do. But the concern that is an individual that's just, from what we understand, a job was created. He was put in that position. And then 30 days later, he's wanting to come in and do the same thing that we're doing. But they inspect us. We wouldn't know who would inspect him as a person that would come out here. There'd be some conflicts because we can't leave material in the creeks. We have to pull it out, and nobody's doing that. And we've heard that they cut a couple little small trees and they leave them. So that means that we got to go through there and do the exact same thing of pulling those out and getting them out. When it's just a conflict, and who's going to inspect, the inspector kind of deal. And we just wanted to, again, address what we've been doing, and it's our responsibility to do what's been done and what we want to continue to do. So to have the department that we have inspect us is concerning, just because of the conflict that we see coming out there and periodically going down and cutting something because it's there. There's a lot of regulations, a lot of policies, a lot of DNR, a lot of things that we have to comply with as well. And the other thing is we have to have a lot of insurance. We are in the water with chainsaws, and there's a lot of liabilities, and we pay a hefty price. And I know you guys remember the Indian Springs Bridge. We had an issue where the owner came and blamed us because a tree came down in that area, and my insurance came in and did a complete investigation, saw that he was neglected for the last 20 years of that bridge, and we even found a bridge operator that was asked to quote him 6 years ago because it was terrible, and we signed off on it and had no fault for us or for the county. So there's a lot involved instead of just grabbing a chainsaw and going down the creek and cutting something and leaving it or what have you. So
I was gonna say it takes more than a chainsaw to get a log out of the creek.
Oh,
Yeah,
my.
yeah.
I mean,
does it ever? And our motto is we've bought 8-wheelers, amphibious vehicles. We go up and down. We patrol this waterways of DeKalb County. We float the stuff. We cut them in 10-foot sections. We float them down to a bridge. We pick them up with a truck that we have a crane on. I mean, there's just a lot of process.
yeah.
Sure.
Is this something that is under the purview of the surveyor only, or is it something where, I mean, that's just the question that I would have listening to this. Obviously, commissioners have influence and can influence everything, but I'm not sure.
My understanding, and please correct me, but my understanding is that the surveyor's office was there to assist us if someone had called in and said, hey, there's a tree that fell back in my yard and it's in the creek. They would tell us, we'd go over there and do it. The second part is that they would come and inspect what we do to have a overall picture of that we're doing the job correctly and that it's being done correctly and that it's being signed off because it's been completed. But the bottom line is we heard that the Cedar Creek board was the one that basically saw over everything that we in the surveyor's office did.
I don't know that that's exactly correct. The Cedar Creek the Cedar Creek board is responsible for some segments of Cedar Creek in the county, and the surveyor is responsible for some others. And I'm not sure how the classification exactly works.
I'm not either, but the surveyor,
It's
he has more overall say, I'm sure,
yeah.
than the Cedar Creek board as far as Cedar Creek Board, I think, just deals with Cedar Creek.
Yeah, and what,
And we
yeah,
have a lot of other
Yeah.
open drains that, you know,
Correct.
it's,
a lot more than just Cedar Creek, so.
it's not unusual at all for when there's a change of an elected office.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of changes to happen. You know, if a new auditor is elected or a new treasurer, vendors change and so forth, and, you know, absent a contract, you know, that kind of changes things too, but the surveyor is an elected official, and that's a constitutional office, not a legislative office, so
Right.
they're really independent of, certainly we have no authority over them, and neither does the drainage board.
Even though the person wasn't elected, just replaced,
He was elected by the caucus to replace.
Yeah.
okay?
He was elected to fill that
By the
term.
Republican Party. That
By
was
the
in control.
caucus.
Once
Yeah.
he's in office and takes whatever
By
oath he'd
the
have
oath
to
of
take,
office,
then
he's-
he's treated like a regular elected
Yeah,
official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a drainage board issue, or is it a surveyor issue? Is it a Cedar Creek board? I mean, who has the authority to say, hey, we're gonna,
It's actually
Use
drainage
whoever.
board issue, actually. I think they would have authority over this as a board.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the drainage board.
That's what we really
I mean,
need to
the
find
the
out. Who's in
surveyor-
charge?
The surveyor doesn't work for the drainage board,
Okay, right.
Yeah,
you know, so.
So whose responsibility is it then, is what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's the surveyor's office. He's an elected official. He can pick his vendors.
I know, but is that issue of cleaning out Cedar Creek a surveyor issue?
Yes.
It is a surveyor
Yes,
issue,
yeah.
okay, all right.
yeah.
Just a couple of things. Number one, Mike, I hate to correct you, but it's a legislative office. It's not a constitutional office.
Oh, okay.
Constitutional offices are those that are term limited,
All right. I
and the
stand
surveyor's
corrected.
office is not.
I stand corrected.
I think the issue here is probably more so the fact that the surveyor's office was so far behind on so many projects, as we've talked so many times before, that they're playing catch up and may not know all the nuances that have gone on in the office over the years. The surveyor, as has been historically true, except for our last surveyor, is part-time. He has his own business, he has his own job, he is a part-time official. And he's only been in office for less than a year. The number two person in that office was just recently installed. And so I'm sure he's not had the time to really get through everything that needs to be gone through. So I think this is probably more a communication issue between these two, and it's unfortunate that you've not been able to meet with them, because it does sound like you do many good things for the county. But I think we need to encourage the two of them to sit down together and to see what needs to be done.
I think this is a case where we've got a couple of fairly new people in that office. They're energetic. They're looking for something to do. I think their time might be better served if they was to work in that office overtime rather than going out here and clearing out these logs in the creeks.
There is a lot to do, and I'm sure that they're working hard on it, but it's a communication issue, I think, right now.
It's an idea, maybe look better on paper than it does in reality. But I think the thing to do is to come into the survey, or the
Absolutely.
drainage board
Absolutely.
meeting. I don't know yet whether we'll have a meeting this week. We should know, well, we'll have to know tomorrow.
It's on the agenda, yeah. Well, yeah, and Michelle usually sends that out on Wednesdays.
Yeah, yeah. So if we have a meeting, I'd say come on in to that meeting.
We will be, and we'll also try to continue to get a meeting.
Yeah.
I know Glenn, the surveyor, he's got a lot going on.
Correct.
And he's not in the office all that often.
Correct.
He comes in and then does the necessary things, and then he's off again. But
Right.
hopefully that will smooth out a little bit in the coming months. You know, we are getting some things done through that office, surprisingly.
Yeah, we've
Probably more so
gotten a
than
lot accomplished.
when Mr. Klein was in office.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make headway but yeah,
No,
come in.
and I understand that completely, and we love what we do. We've done a great job. We've done a lot of other things for the county. We even cleaned the St. Joe River, had a very large log jam over there, and we cleaned that out. It took us about 6 months to do that. But we also work with the Lear grants, and we also work with DNR to have the funding to do those special things like that as well, besides our responsibility of the creek and all the other ditches here, which is what we've put our place or our position in to do that with hiring people and going through these programs and giving them a new life and buying equipment to do what we need to do. And we just don't want somebody to come in, not know who we are, not know what we're doing, just get into the office like you'd mentioned and say, I want to bring somebody in that I know can do that. Or I want to do it part-time and take a chainsaw and go down the creek and cut something out.
Well, I think that concern is probably a little premature. I mean, that was just a very preliminary discussion at the Drainage Board, but I would certainly encourage you to try to work on getting a meeting with Glenn and sit down with him, because I think that's really the key to getting this solved. You know, I think it's going to be difficult to find an agency in the county that's going to be able to dictate to the surveyor how he has to run his department. So, you know, I think if you can communicate with him and try to work it out, that's going to be by far your most efficient way to solve that.
I totally agree with that, and I appreciate your guys' assistance and help if that need be at that point in time as well.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, have a good day.
And thank you for the work you've done.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. We got a lot of time, guys.
We are really efficient today.
We are really just buzzing, aren't we? Miscellaneous topics. Anybody have anything, please?
No, I had go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead. You first.
This is more of just a correction. I wanted to make sure everyone realizes we did give financial information to the council. It was in the council meeting, it was mentioned that this was coming back to us.
Rick? Either outside or we're trying to,
I just wanted to say that we did give a 5-year and a 20-year plan, and we stated that we could maybe do an additional couple miles per year. So we did give everything, I believe, that is needed.
Well, we put up numbers even for a 10-year plan to
Yeah.
pick something in the middle, too.
And we even stated that, hey, this doesn't include inflation, we're not sure, so I don't know what else we can provide. So
Well, the only thing we could do that would be any more in-depth would be to do a regular asset plan that would cost us $50,000 to have a firm, engineering firm do it.
right.
You know, which may have some benefit in the long run, but if we're uncertain about whether there's going to be a wheel tax to do any of this work, I don't want to spend $50,000 for a study to do a plan with, you know, unless we know that we're going to have the funding
yeah.
from the wheel tax.
Well, and again, we're trying to put this together last minute, you know, hey, we need some data. Okay, well, here's some data. That's all we can give at this point. We have a highway superintendent that says, hey, even if you give me $1 billion, you're not getting more than a couple miles a year because there's just no capacity. So we know what the shortfalls are. We have a 5 and 20-year plan, 10-year. I think we're there. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to provide. And I've not once been contacted by anyone from the council on the highway department. The jail meetings were the same way. And I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here, but when we're talking about bending over backwards for people, we've been over backwards saying, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. Would you please join our conversation? And we get no response. I haven't even gotten a phone call. So I don't know. I emailed everyone in the council, didn't receive a reply back either. So I'm just trying to have communication. And I think it was maybe an unfair thing saying it's coming back to us because we have given the data. Or Ben has, and you worked on it, and so did Mr. Stone.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, we could add a few details in terms of if we're going to convert a road.
Absolutely.
It needs to have this many houses per mile.
Absolutely.
Something like that, you know, certainly to add a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
I might add, a conversation with Ben last Friday, the liaison to the Highway Department has not been down to see Ben concerning
Right.
the wheel tax or the budget for 2024.
Right.
So it looks like communication is a problem.
Yeah, we got to communicate better on this.
What you got, Rick?
Well, I would agree. We need communication. And the commissioners are the administrators for the county, and this is one of their departments. And we need that information. I came back to you at least twice prior to this last meeting, asking for that, a plan to be presented. A number of counties have an official plan that's been developed by an engineer that sets the goals that they want to see for a 10 or 20-year period. I'll be the first to agree, we can't do anything in 5 years. There's just too much to be done, so we have to have a longer period. But I also have there is a time period in the council meeting for for commissioner council discussion, for those types of things to be put forward. And very rarely do we ever see the three of you there. We get Mike's there, Bill's there occasionally, you're there occasionally, but that's the time that you can bring those issues in. Now whether or not we've bent over backwards for you or whatnot is, I don't know if I want to use that term. The council has provided you the money to put in a new highway department. We understood that was a bad area, the buildings were bad, something needed to be done. But I believe that the county also allowed the sale of property, not just the property of the highway department, but the sale of other property to go directly into funding that new highway department. There was a discrepancy on where to locate it. Quite a bit of the council wanted to put it on the county farm where we already own the ground. But they went along with buying something separate. So we have done our job. What we need from you is direction. What do you want to do?
Well,
How much do you want to do?
did you see what we printed? Mike and Ben and
Yes,
they worked on
I
that.
saw
We gave a
that.
5, 10, and 20-year plan. We even discussed it. Hey, we can do a couple miles more, maybe. That gives us a guideline to say, okay, you know what? We either need to do the tax or we don't. Now, once you do the tax, we can do that big study, but to do a big study and say, hey, we're going to do all this, and then say, well, we're not going to do the tax now, it just,
It is a chicken and egg thing, but Mike and Ben put that together a month before we discussed this.
right.
We've been talking about it now for well over a year and a half. So we need to get some direction. We're coming up to doing the budget for next year. Now, we're probably going to be okay. We're not going to be short next year, but
Right.
we're not going to do
25
any
isn't.
more than we've already done.
I agree.
And if you're going to do something in 25, you're going to have to come up with something, because if we are, and the direct number on the fiscal plan shows we're about $634,000 short. Now, there's other shortages, but that's what's right in the fiscal plan. If we're short that, what are we going to do? We're going to either cut projects, cut people, cut equipment. So we're going to start cutting, because we got to make up that $600 and some $1,000 someplace.
That's what I'm talking about. You have the data. So you have everything you need to know whether to do this tax or not. It's just a matter of how much you want to throw into the tax, or how far you want to go with it, which is fine.
That was the discussion. That
Right.
was the discussion that people didn't want to get into on that
Right.
day.
Right.
Because we could have, we've gotten the advice that let's go to the maximum. Well, I don't think that that's really necessary or fair to everybody if we go to the maximum, because it is pretty salty.
Sure.
I also know that I don't want to go just enough, because then next year or the following year, going to be right back at it and try to present it again. That doesn't make any sense either. Most of the discussion pertain to the actual roads that might be improved. What got thrown into it later in their proposal was the fact that we're also going to be short in the bridge fund. The bridge,
Possibly. That's
We
not
will
for
be-
certain,
Well, we will be short.
necessarily.
I think we will be short if we do the projects that need to be done. And one of the things that I was hearing from the farmers is, okay, I'm driving down a dirt road or a gravel road versus a paved road. Yeah, that's an issue in some cases, but my bigger problem is if a bridge is out, whether it's a small stream, a small bridge or a large bridge, if a bridge is out and I've got to go 5 miles out of my way to get my product to market, that's a real issue. So that bridge fund has got to be addressed. Now, we've already had to, the bridge fund is at its maximum, and we had to increase the cum cap fund a number of years ago to add a piece in for bridges. Well, beginning in next year, the amount that we're getting in cum cap is going to start to go down. Laws were changed. If we want to bring it back up to where it was or is, we're going to have to pass it again. So that's a second tax that's going to come up. And if what's going to be shorted in that decrease in cum cap is probably going to be bridges, because the other things that we need have got to happen. So we need a plan. That's what we expect from the commissioners, is the plan. We'll try to fund what you need, but you got to let us know what that need is.
But I guess I keep just circling back. We gave you a preliminary, here is a need, and you're asking us to act on something in 1 month. The engineer.
It's been going on for over.
No, I know, but you've never
That's-
asked us to do an engineer study, and now that's a whole different game there. That's happy to help. I'm just saying, the need's there, the need's there, just go ahead and pull the trigger if you think you need to do it.
If you are willing, what my intention to ask the council to do is we're going to set up a committee. We're going to bring in some citizens into that committee, and we can put one commissioner on it. We'll do that. We'll put a couple council people on it, and we will have a proposal, because what's happened now is it's the need's not gone away. The ability to have a wheel tax is not going away. What we'll have to do is we can pass it anytime between now and next August and have it be effective January 1 of 2025.
Right.
The only issue I have with that is the fact that the money is not going to come in as fast as the need is going to be there, where we would have had the opportunity to kind of build it up a little bit. And then you would have it to work with. Because you don't have to take the wheel tax and say that wheel tax money is going to build that road.
Right.
You can use that wheel tax money to be the 20% match on any of community crossings or federal grants. I was told through this discussion that Noble County's got several federal projects going on at any one time. That they've used their wheel tax money to leverage in getting that federal money. As far as community crossings, I do believe that Ben is getting the maximum that he can, but we can try for more, and it's a matter of, he can give you the idea of how it, the time that it takes to develop those plans, and when the best bidding time is. If I bid it in January, I'm good, but if I bid in July, all the contractors are already tied up and they push the prices higher. So that's why I bid only at one particular time.
That's why he goes for the July call, because he can get it organized, get it ready, and then get the bids in the winter.
Right.
When they're looking to fill next summer.
So
Like you
I
say.
think Ben's doing what he can. He's doing what he
Does that cap out at $1 million, the community crossing?
That's what I've been told.
It's a million.
Because we got 900 and some thousand last time, didn't we?
That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up, $1 million is the top.
That's the cap,
And
right?
whatever
Cap.
they decide.
But we've always gotten real close to that million
Yeah.
last few times.
That's for the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for the year.
And,
Well-
so I don't want to see any of that stop. And I'm sure that people out there would like to see changes. Now, the example I gave to Ben was, with the small structure being down on State Road 8, I had to take County Road 40 to Noble County a number of times over the last for several months. And it's not so bad on County Road 40, but then it does turn very bad just before you get to Noble County. And you get into Noble County and County Road, that road over there, whatever the road number is a beautiful, wide road, well maintained, not nearly to the standard that what we have. Now, as Ben said, the reason it's that way is we did repave County Road 40, but we stopped half a mile or a mile before we got to Noble County. So that's why you see that big difference.
I can show you some roads in Noble County. They are asphalt, but they are junk. Because they didn't do them right when they did them. They did them on the cheap side. They got a lot done.
Well, and
but they're not holding up.
that's a problem. And, you know, I know somebody mentioned LaGrange County up here before, and LaGrange County is one that does have that engineer's plan that they're working on. And the people I was with last week was very complimentary on how much road work. In fact, they almost thought too much road work because everything's blocked or, you know, because they're building or repaving, but how much work they're getting done. And you know, they've made a concerted effort at it. That's what I want to see us on. But the council's got to have your direction. We just can't, you know, I don't think we're just going to say, well, let's give them $1 million or let's give them, you know, the $500,000. What is it do you want? And let us discuss it.
Like I said, I think we've provided that for the most part, and if you want to act on it, great. If you don't, understand there too, but you got to get control of them to at least talk about it. And at least come see us once in a while. I have a phone call, come out to the highway department, talk to Ben, talk to Ben individually. The liaison, go say, Ben.
I have talked to, I talked to most of the department heads.
I know you have. But the liaison should be talking to Ben about the wheel tax, and Ben should show him his plans, and then, you know, and that's what we'd like to see too. You're asking us, we're asking you to send your liaison to us and talk to us, and we're happy to do that.
You know, I think the issue was, I thought anyway, the issue was the numbers. How much wheel tax do we need to collect? And we tried to put that information together. And in my sense, in fairness, just the way I read the room, I think there were two members of the council that were ready to move forward and figure out how to categorize the different registration classifications and come up with what our number was. And I think Rick's asking for the information that the other five members seemed to want, what was a more in-depth plan. At least that's the way I read it. You know,
I think part of the reluctance came when we were talking 1.5, 1.6, and
Right.
Brad said, no, wait a minute, you need to look at that 2 million number.
Right.
well,
That's
yeah,
where that confusion came up, that drug everything to a halt right there.
well, and that was just somebody misread read out of the wrong column. Because our shortfall using a 5-year plan was 2.8 or whatever.
On the 5 year.
Well, there were two things
Yeah,
that,
the
you know,
one
I
thing-
think, like I said, I'm going to put together a committee
Yeah.
from the council that we can work on it. We've got time. I've made mention of the fact it will remain on the council agenda until we've settled the issue, whether we pass it or not.
I thought
We
that was
have
right.
turned it down a number of times and not passed it. But some of the things that came from that meeting that you could help us with, because it will help with knowing what that bottom line number is. I was being pretty simplistic, and when I said something about paving roads that only had X number of homes on it. And Brad Stump was able to come up and say, no, wait a minute, there are other factors you need to consider.
Amount of traffic.
What roads does it intersect with? Who travels it? Why do they travel it? Because there are roads that should be paved that maybe don't have homes on it, and there are roads that maybe the homeowners don't want paved and would qualify based on the number of homes. So you got to come up with that kind of of a standard so that we know what we're working with. I know that, and I had Ben go out and look because one of our former commissioners and council people was very upset that previous commissioners had turned over and allowed a railroad bridge to be removed and did not negotiate the paving of a road that was necessary to now get around that where that bridge was. So now they have to go on a gravel road to get to a road that they want to use. That is a road that probably doesn't have a lot of homes on it, but really needs to be paved. But you know, those are things that you guys can look at. But come back to us and let us know how much are you expecting to do? You know, I don't think anybody expects you to bring every road we've got up to a level 5. That's just not reasonable. You're going to do it over a 10-year period or a 20-year period. Do you want to do 5 miles a year? Do you want to do 2 miles a year? Do you even want to pave a gravel road? That's up to you. I mean, you can say no. I mean, I said I used to debate with Connie Miles all the time as to whether or not we wanted to pave gravel roads.
I think we're making this way too complicated. And I thought Todd had the ideal suggestion when you just go to the max. We can use whatever you give us. And even if you give us a max, it's not going to do a whole lot per year. And so you develop a plan. If you don't get enough money to fulfill that plan, what good's the plan? So give us some money. We'll use it efficiently. We rely on Ben a lot to tell us what needs done, where it needs to be done.
All right.
And we scrutinize his plan. We look at his plan. He brings it to us, what he wants to do each year. And you know, we give him the go-ahead or we have questions.
Because we have
But to sit here and say, oh, we need a plan, we're going to spend $50,000 for a plan and not have the money to do it, what's the point? Just give us you give us as much as you can give us,
We've
that you
identified
feel good with.
66.8 miles that are below a 5 that we definitely want to address, so we know what that cost is.
It's not a matter of,
140,000.
Yeah, at 100
matter.
grand
All
a
right,
mile.
well, what I'm hearing, Bill, and what I'll take back to the council is that you want us to go to the max.
that's up
Well,
to
let me-
I'm telling you, the max will not even give us to where we need to be.
I understand that.
That's all I'm telling
We're
you.
telling you, we can spend whatever you give us.
That's right.
But you guys hold the purse. You guys decide what the taxpayers want. We're telling you, from a need standpoint, we can spend every penny you send us. There's no doubt about that. You decide if you want to do that,
right.
but I guarantee you we can spend it.
Well, of that no doubt.
Well, yeah, so the need is there. You need to sell them on the need.
You can't fill the need,
Yeah.
not in any short period of time.
Well,
with the max.
Again,
So it's up to you
you know, we know
guys.
it's a multi-year project. And it's gonna go beyond that because you still have to maintain that. Because, you know, what you fix in year 1 is gonna need to be fixed
yeah.
again in year 20. You know it will
But
be.
we got to start somewhere. We're all going to be
Gotta
6
start somewhere,
foot
but
under before it's done, but
I-
that's
I-
fine.
so,
You know, I have tried to get everybody on board and get them moving in the right direction. It failed. Well, we're gonna try it again.
Sure.
But now we've got until August of next year to make that decision. And you're not going to get any funds, though, from it until January of
Yeah, and
'25.
then we've got another year of inflation to deal with as well. But just to be clear, and to Bill's point, even if we're at the maximum on the wheel tax, if we use the 20-year plan and we have all the other shortfalls figured in, and I think that's pretty accurate, for 2025, we're short 2.825 million.
Using the 20-year.
And at the maximum, the wheel tax generates for the county 2.9 million. So there's $100,000.
Again, I think that probably one of the best uses of the wheel tax money is going to be to use it as
As leverage, yeah.
the leverage it
Probably.
into other funds. That just, because you're right, we're never going to generate enough money to make up everything. But if we can use it as the match that we need for any of these grants.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's a short-term solution. We've got a lot of other things that we've got to look at too. I mean, we've got to get a hammer on the legislature to work on the road funding and.
Yeah.
Well, the
particularly
restricted,
the-
non-restricted is going to be a big deal this
That's going to be
year.
a big deal this year to get that restricted, non-restricted formula changed.
And I'm just,
Is that in legislation to change the unrestricted, or are they going to loosen that back up again, or are they thinking about tightening it?
well, the Senate did they did implement some of the suggestions that we made. The House killed it.
The House did kill it?
Yeah, so it went right back to what it was before.
Yeah.
But,
So hopefully, at least we're going to be able to move the winter supplies out of the restricted side and into non-restricted.
That'd be nice, at least.
Yeah.
Help out a
Yeah,
little.
well, and
that's a
see,
big
what the
disparity.
hangup then got to be that the South didn't need that.
Right.
They needed money for tree removal and storm damage repair and things like that.
They have
So,
different needs than we do.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
300 miles can make a big difference.
The other thing I'm hoping for, and I don't know how we're going to address this when we start, but you've heard Bidati, she still isn't getting the employees that we need for the highway department.
All right.
And we need to get that, maybe get that pay up a little more. I thought we had addressed that initially as one of the two areas that needed a boost, but maybe we need more. But then I would also suggest that you work with the city of Auburn, city of Garrett, and whoever else was talking about going together and doing a CDL class. Try to bring in somebody that maybe doesn't have a CDL, train them, and then get them to sign an agreement that they'll work for us for 5 years or whatever the limit. We used to do that with
Can we do
nurses
that?
all the time.
Can we legally do that?
Yes,
Can we
yes,
enter
you can.
a contract with
Yes.
someone?
You
to-
can't make them work for you, but you can say you have to pay back the training.
Okay, all right, pay back.
Not
the
on a
training.
gradated level. If you leave in the first year, you pay most of it back. If you leave in
Prorated
year
out.
4,
Okay.
there'd be a lot
That's
less
what
you'd
I
have
meant.
to
We
pay
used
back.
to, we used to do that with
So
nurses
the
all the time.
callback of the training,
Yeah.
if
So
that,
you
okay.
just-
I
You don't
didn't
want
mean-
to train them and then have them leave.
Yeah.
I
thought you
believe
meant
that's legal
I
to
thought you
do
meant
that
an
clawback.
employment contract, like you must work.
Well,
for 5 years or-
they did take out for physicians and nurses, the non-compete.
Okay.
That was one change that they made in the legislature this year. They couldn't get a doctor to sign a non-compete and then leave, and he couldn't practice within 60 miles of the hospital or whoever was employing him before. But anyway, so,
Yep.
I would work with Ben and see what we have to do. I mean, is that going with another municipality or another county or Ivy Tech? I don't know what's out there.
I got a comment to make. There was a comment made that the new highway department campus would not improve the efficiency of the highway department. And it is absolutely false. I want to make a correction on that. As we speak, I think they are milling County Road 35, and all those millings are going to go up to that new highway department. In our present highway department, we could not take those millings. And I want to remind everybody that those millings are free and the trucking is free. So we can process those millings and use those millings. And the other thing is the shop area. We have an atrocious shop area down here. Can't always get all the trucks in that need worked on. We're going to have a shop area that's going to be much more efficient, get these trucks serviced and get them in and out more quickly.
You'll have
Get 'em
more
back
trucks
on the road.
on the road at any
Yeah,
given time.
they're not doing anything sitting in the shop. They need to be on the road, and that's going to increase considerably the efficiency of that shop. The other thing is the wash bay is going to be an up-to-date inside wash bay. These trucks only last as long as the frames. And if you don't clean those frames, they're going to rust out. We had trucks with frames that absolutely broke because of the salt. So efficiency is going to be increased considerably, not only from the standpoint of maintenance, but also from efficiency of being able to buy a product and store it, whether it be gravel or millings or whatever that might be. So just wanted to make a correction on that.
And I would fully agree with what you're saying, Bill. It is going to be a better department. It will increase the efficiency. It is something that needed to be done, which is why, I don't know, I don't believe a council person said that. about its efficiency. I don't,
No,
I think,
it was actually you said that wouldn't, yeah, actually, I can pull up words as, it won't do a damn thing for the roads, the new highway department,
well.
and it will.
That was Dave Yoder.
Oh, it was Dave.
Directly, it won't. Directly, it
Well,
won't.
I
That was
know,
the
but-
point. That was the point. As a department, it is something that was needed. I do believe I said that early on. But, you
I
know,
just-
we were all being pushed on the fact that, well, you're spending this on the buildings.
I get that.
And you're not putting it in the roads. So.
But look
had
what
to
we did
make-
with this building. We built this grand building for our judges and everyone here, and they appreciate working in a nice building. And the mechanics currently cover their tool chest with tarps because the roof leaks on it, and they got $100,000 worth of tools there. How do you hire someone?
Not debating that at all.
So it will help.
It's not that it's going to go directly into the roads.
Yeah. No,
And that's what the citizens that I was hearing from, that's what they were saying. The
I get that.
department was needed. It's too small. I can't believe that we've ever had a department there with what's truly a major road going through it, that
Right.
somebody hasn't been hit.
Yeah, driving
or hurt.
payloaders across it, and power lines,
Well,
and,
you know, when I was on city council, we attempted to close that road.
right.
We blockaded it at.
I remember that.
At Ensley or Wayne and whatever that would be, Cedar and Ensley.
People are upset.
And the entire east side of the town came unglued because they
Right.
all use that, which means it's a major road.
I agree. Yeah.
But we need to be out of there. But anyway, so this is something that it's going to be on our agenda as a council for the next year or until it's taken care of. Whether or not we give you the max or we give you some portion of the max, we've got to address this, or we have to live with the money we've got, which means we're going to have to reduce things. And I don't know that anybody, the citizens, the commissioners, the council, I don't think anybody wants to reduce what we're doing.
I think
We
that
got
would
to
bad.
we got to be at least at
Yeah.
this level.
I agree. I think that'd be horrible.
Yeah.
And like I said, in closing, I'd say, we will take whatever you give us. So you can't give us enough money. It's that simple.
That's simple.
Yeah.
Let's keep
All
it
right,
simple.
well,
So that,
All right.
go to the board with that.
I'll try.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay. Miscellaneous, we're still open for miscellaneous.
I have and we're talking about budget. I have a budget request from the Pocobosh Task Force for 2024 of $2,900 for the DeKalb County share.
What's it for, Mike? I'm sorry.
The Pocobosh Task Force.
Okay.
For the trail. $2,900 for the year.
And what did we do last year for them?
Nothing. This is new.
Oh, this is new?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is where the task force was just formed.
Oh, okay. This was just formed then.
Yeah. Yeah. Fort Wayne and Allen County are funding 76% of it.
Okay.
So that 2,900 is 5%.
Are they the ones that they're giving recommendations? Is that what, I forget the task force. We talked
Well,
about that last year.
yeah.
They,
Yeah, the task force is doing the grant applications, doing the branding and the marketing to private enterprise or private sector for contributions and just coordinating all that. The task force is not going to build anything.
right, okay.
So it's just laying the groundwork.
We didn't put anyone on that task force, did we?
Yes, me.
Yeah, okay, other than you, I mean.
No.
No, okay, all right.
I think it's like, 11 government entities, and each one
Yeah, it's
has
11
one
counties.
person on the board, I
Yeah.
think.
Each of the
Waterloo has a
11
person on the board, I know that was, came
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
What would the money be used for, just for their operations?
Yeah,
to-
for like grant writers and some of the marketing and branding that it takes to get private sector benefactors involved and that sort of thing.
Does that help us hopefully find some funding so the county itself doesn't have to throw funding at the trail system? I mean, is this a wise investment in your opinion?
Oh, by all means.
To
I mean,
keep us from.
Yeah, the goal of the task force is not to have government funding to build the trail at all.
Okay.
You know, this is just a support of getting the trail built and finding the funding to do that.
Okay.
So
So the idea is
there's
to,
really no anticipation or expectation of having, having any of the 11 government agencies actually funding construction at all, or right-of-way acquisition or any of that. You know, the task force is just a support and assistance agency to make things happen.
what do you think on that, Bill? I know what you think overall, but what do you think on the fact, the question I asked, that this funding helps, they can get grants and keep out of our pockets for funding the trail system? I don't know. I mean, we put the task force together. What's the thoughts?
I didn't vote for the task force.
Didn't you? Okay. All right.
Just a reminder.
Yeah, okay.
So, we're talking about roads and bridges that needs money desperately, and yet here we are talking about trails that, in my mind,
Right.
will serve no good economic purpose for the county. So I don't know, you know,
I'd like more information on this, Mike.
Yeah.
Can we table this till next week and
yeah,
let's talk about that?
let's table it.
I
Got a
would like to
question.
learn more about that.
What did we decide on the attorney's fees for next year?
Whose?
Mr. Cruz?
What were we cutting them 10%? I can't
I
remember.
think so.
I thought it was in the other direction there that you guys volunteered.
It was.
I think he thinks I'm being funny.
Yeah. But it was 40, it was 45. I thought we was going to 50.
No, it was at 50 and.
No,
No, it was, I think it was at 45,
he-
and you
he
agreed,
quoted-
you said you would propose 5,000 more.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
So we're up to
that
we're up to
shows
the 50 we
45 for
originally thought it was going to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah, that's what, I think that's what we voted on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Which
I appreciate that.
it shows up 45 on this.
Okay, you're right, okay. Yeah, because that's what you bid in
Right.
originally,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So we're talking 50 then, right?
Yeah, that's what he's talking, but it doesn't show up on the sheet here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's actually,
Is that owed?
we have it.
You have it?
One that we submitted on.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as you have it in. I just want to make sure I was going through some stuff.
Thank you. Thanks for making sure that's up to date.
that 8 cents will not work.
Yeah, that's going to break the budget.
So
Okay.
anyway, I can get you whatever you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, let's talk
on
about
this,
it.
but
I wanna
it
know more
won't-
about
It
it.
won't be a line item on the budget, because that goes,
I
the budget
understand
goes
that.
in on Wednesday.
How would we pay for that too? What fund?
We could take it out of
Okay.
administrative. funds.
Administrative?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Wait off the
2,900 or
end, we're
something.
going to have.
Yeah.
I can find that.
We got Mr.
Several places.
The
But
gentleman,
just to give you
Don.
some,
You're trying to keep it on.
some sense.
Yeah, got him-
Fort Wayne and
got
Allen
him
County
too,
are
and that
putting
took a
up
time, so yeah, we'll catch that.
39,000.
Yeah. Okay, everyone.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's take a break early. Mike's off.
Okay.
Take a break, and then Julie, we've got Ben coming in, and who's got some.
Ben's at 10:15, right?
Oh.
How are you doing?
Who's the pledge?
I was last week, so. Get over here, and I'll give you your policy number. Okay. Not yet. All right, you got your pencil ready? All right, your policy number is H as in Henry, 799, yep, 503. Nope, 503. Yep. 5930. 5930. Nope, 5930. Nine, 3-0. Nope, 930. Yes. All right. Yeah, that's correct. The first is an H as in Henry. You're all set. So your policy was effective on August 11th of 23, and it'll run. All right, now the otherwise, we are all set, so you can call me anytime you have questions. No, it got mailed out on the 11th.
Mike's on.
Mike's on. Ben, what you got?
Morning, guys. Got a few things today. First one I'll go over with is a email I got from Jack. Did you guys cover this today from Security Automation Systems?
Oh, I read it, but we didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
This was a, excuse me, quote that Jack received from them to do the labor for the video system install at the new highway department for a cost of $45,185. I did glance over it. Seems fine, but I don't know the scope. That was kind of in Jack's domain. But he did send this to me and Susan last week, asked to be put on the commissioner's agenda for today. So that's about all I know about it, but I just wanted to make sure that we discussed it in the email. It sounded like that with the time constraints and things that they wanted to have an answer and be able to move forward. I don't know if Jack's available, if you needed him to come over and go over any of this with you.
Did I see something in the email that had been lowered to 45,000 or something like that from 49?
You know, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was
It was in
45,000.
the Monday.
Yeah, on the paper here, it's written 49,750. I don't think that is
And it's just the updated labor, it's just the updated labor price.
right. It should be 45 something. I think was in the
Well, it
email.
is 45, it's 45,185.
Yeah.
Man, I might need your glasses to read that.
Yeah, right.
Good.
38.
Labor originally was
Yeah, there it is.
49,750, it was lowered to 45,180.
Yeah. It's on the back side of the front page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the other one that you're talking about.
I would imagine we could go ahead with that. I'm not real sure, but it's got to be done.
Jack didn't say anything in his email, as far as anything he had concerns or anything about. Unless you want to follow up with him, that'd be my only other recommendation, because he's handled this. So
Yep,
I'm
and-
sorry, I'm just not real diverse on,
And Susan said that it is strictly the updated labor price, that is what Jack submitted, so that's what that is. It's basically everything else is the same, it's just the updated labor.
Susan wants me to call her. Do you want me to?
I was gonna say, she's trying to call me right now.
Why don't you want to put her on? Or why don't you call her?
She just called me too.
Okay. Do you want to call her and put her on?
Here's the,
yeah, she may have talked to Jack, I don't.
here's the revised one here with the 45,180.
You want me to put her on this number?
Sure.
This is the old quote here,
Right.
49,750.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was the labor. 49,750 initial and
185.
185, so $4,000 less. And then the hardware,
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Susan. Go ahead.
That is the labor cost because you asked Jack to go back because you lowered the number of cameras being installed.
right.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's literally just coming back because you asked me to have him re-quote it because you decreased the camera
Right.
Right.
amount.
But the wiring and the junction boxes, I think, are all going to stay the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't take any of that.
So it's just the labor for the cameras
For the labor for the
themselves.
cameras, yeah.
All right, that's
That
a pretty
makes
good
sense.
reduction.
Just doing the change order would have cost more than.
Oh,
what it saved
yeah.
On the boxes and stuff.
Right, right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Buck a piece or whatever.
Yeah, it's not a big,
If we want to add later, we can with the
Yeah.
infrastructure already being there, so.
there. Okay, entertain a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the updated labor amount of $45,185.
I'll second.
A motion is second. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Mamacita.
She must already hung up on you.
Yeah, she was done.
Sorry, I didn't have a lot of the detail on that.
That's okay. That's okay. We got her.
Figured.
We got.
Next thing I got on the agenda is the award for Bridge 132 for Zachary.
Yeah.
I sent you guys last week the bid tabs between the two bidders, between Milestone and RG Zachary. And they had to break down the cost differences on the side.
Mm-hmm.
They did want to try to do this project this fall yet, which I'm okay with that. We're going to be cutting the asphalt time real close by the time they get done. That's my only concern, if they get any delays or weather delays. If we run short on time, it could affect getting that resurfaced. It's my only concern is I like to have that done before winter.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be a gravel patch through the
Gravel
winter.
approach.
Which would be okay, it just requires some maintenance.
Yeah.
Did send off the bonds and the contract, the agreement to Andrew for review.
And I'm fine with it.
I do have the signed contract from Zachary, and then the paperwork here to be signed. You guys want to move forward. The bid is a little bit more than what I originally had budgeted, but I have another project that I'm holding off on for now on a bridge. I'll transfer that money over. So I can do it within what's budgeted in my budget for now to cover the additional expense. So if you guys are okay with awarding this to Zachary, we'll move forward.
$100,000 in difference, wasn't there?
Zachary's bid was $449,862. Milestones was $562,429.
An estimate was what, 430 or around there?
Just had it. What did I do with it?
About 120 difference.
Engineer's
110.
estimate was $426,558, so it's about 5%.
Yeah. I think it's a no-brainer. We take Zachary on this one, and especially with Ben's recommendation. I saw the comparison he did, and they were equal comparisons, so I'd make a motion, we engage Zachary for the bridge replacement on this job.
A motion and a second. All those, any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same. Motion carries. Zachary, it is.
This contract is for all three commissioners to sign, and then for the auditor to attest. I'll give you that one, then I've got the Form 96 here to sign as well. One of them three lines there. That's for the Form 96.
It's Form 96.
It's a bid form. It's, the main reason we use it is because it's got the non-conclusive affidavit
Gotcha.
in it. I can give you the whole thing if you want to see it.
That's fine.
So here's a contracted bid.
Oh, okay. It's an actual state form then?
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Zachary has done us a really good job on the bridges they've done, so.
Yeah.
Turned out to be about one a year.
Yeah.
That's,
You know, we're working on the final cost for Bridge 9. I don't have it all done yet, but it looks like that bid is going to be over by about $2,100, so that ain't too bad for that
Bad at
size
all.
of project.
Turned out nice. Looks good.
We had some savings on areas and we had some overages on areas, but it, you know, looks like we're going to be about $2,100. So out of $1.3 million job, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You gonna make copies of those? Or you want me to send them all to you? However you like me to do it.
What should be the useful life of that bridge in total? Not talking needing a little deck work later and stuff, but how long is a bridge like that good for?
If nothing structurally happens to it, it should be fine for probably 70 years.
Really? 70 years. Amazing. When you think about the pounding those take
Oh, yeah.
between the trucks and the salt and the plowing and the, just
All right. Let me get my stuff back together here if I don't.
amazing.
Too many papers. Okay. Last thing I had, I wanted to hand out to you guys, this was the last paper that I give council for costs.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys had that or not.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure you guys had that, so I brought that up today. I just had the cost difference between the 5 years and the 20 years
Oh, yeah.
in our shortfalls.
Now, we made that very plain, I thought, so,
Yeah, I thought it was a great presentation.
and it's all in one page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better. You don't have to read 40 pages to say, hey, we need money.
Well, and then there was some method to that madness, just to make it
Absolutely.
one page. Yeah.
Absolutely. That was
There's
a
no-
good job.
Yeah, we could have done 20 pages probably.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff Peters told us this was going to be a fall, or a shortfall. We said, hey, we can spend whatever you give us. I don't know what else to say.
It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. Yeah,
You know, on
sometimes.
that, I guess I haven't talked to Susan either on that, but the projected deficits for 2025, has he given us a 2026 or 2027?
I haven't heard anything there.
Is this just,
Yeah.
haven't we? Okay.
No, 26 was just a slash, nothing filled in.
So, that's,
But you've,
them's things that we're gonna shoot from the hip as well.
yeah,
It's,
We haven't, yeah.
yeah, you've
How
almost
how
got
we
to
going to
have,
have a plan when we don't know what the money's going to be?
right, because if we're gonna stay at this for 3-4 years, is this gonna decline 5%, 10? I have no idea.
well, and that's just it. I mean, you've got to have historical 23 and 24 data before you can project out to 26. So that's why there's nothing there for 26.
And these numbers that we used also on here is today's project numbers. So, as these go out 20 years, 5 years, these costs are going to be more.
Well, even at 5% a year, that's, and over 20 years, that's a big
it's
chunk.
double.
Yeah,
If it continues
Guess
that,
what?
yeah.
Double.
That doubles.
yeah.
That's double.
So our shortfall is already there, and then if they want to improve and from where we are, it's going to take money.
Yeah, there's no way out of it. So how much, that's why they are the financial arm. We give them what we would like to accomplish. They decide if it's economically feasible, if the tax burden's too strong, can the taxpayers, that's up to them.
Yeah, I really thought we were pretty clear
Yeah, I
with this.
I, yeah.
don't know what else to say. I say it again, one more time. We can spend every penny you give us.
Yep.
You decide how much you want to send us.
Our asset plan constantly changes.
Yes.
Well, of course.
I mean, there's no way it's ever the
dynamic.
same. Yeah. There's too much infrastructure, there's too many roads, there's too many things that can happen. Look, we got Bridge 9 through on our lap last year.
Right, we didn't expect that, $1
That was
million bucks.
1.3 million.
Yeah.
Hell,
Wasn't
running
in the plan.
running a department like that, your priorities change 10 times a day, let alone trying to project out for,
Because there was a good discussion that, Mr. Stump, I think, brought up, that there's certain roads you're gonna probably pave just because of the amount of traffic they have on them, and that needs to be considered, but let's face it, if someone wants to put in a 100-home housing addition on a gravel road, we're gonna pave that road,
Yeah.
I
because
wanna
we're
tell
gonna
you
get higher
something.
property taxes
I
too.
want to tell you something though. Generally, traffic on a gravel road isn't the issue. And they're not going to take a gravel road by choice.
No,
To
no,
travel from point A to point B.
But if
It's
it-
a number of houses on that
Right.
road that determines the traffic on that road.
But if it saves someone, let's say, 3 miles in order to take a shortcut down a gravel road, that one probably should be considered for an improvement to make travel more efficient. But I agree, houses are the number one.
It's the number one.
After that, then you got to look at, okay, what is that road used for?
Yeah.
Even if, though, if it doesn't have houses, there might be a reason
You
to
know,
pave
it's-
it.
What does it connect to?
Not very
What-
likely, though.
No, but it is something to think about. Yeah.
That's why we did 57 over there out of St. Joe, because Allen County did all their roads, and then it was adjoining that as a cut through from our 68 to it.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with the maintenance on it. It was a cut through. You know, there's not that many houses on it, but it's a cut through.
Right.
You know, so it
That's-
made
that's
sense
a-
to do
It's
that.
candidate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's times that it makes sense, but I'm just saying, a house on a gravel road, if I'm building a new one, the assessed value is much higher because that you can do market data. In other words, you sell a house on a gravel road, especially if it's well off on multiple gravel roads to get to it, you run the market data on that and run one on a paved road, it's worth 20, 30, 40% more a lot of times. There's people who won't even buy a house on a gravel road. So the tax base does go up when we do pave the roads. And to encourage good development, I think it's definitely something to think about.
So I wanted you guys to have this, because everything I was asked to be
It's there.
submitted, I give out.
Sure.
Yeah.
If there's anything they didn't get, it's because they didn't ask, or I just wanted you guys to know that this is what was given out. It's what I was asked for on short notice. And we did our best to come up with it on short notice.
And we went over this last week. This exact form
Yes.
was talked about.
Here, in
Mike
this
gave it
meeting,
to me.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We did.
We went
Monday.
over this.
That's right. You are exactly right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was shocked in the meeting saying this has to go back to the commissioners. It's like,
Well,
what do you want us to do?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we could have thrown in all kinds of other crap in there, but that's what makes a difference. And
Yeah.
those are the numbers that
This is
matter.
reality.
Yeah.
This is reality.
Well, I just want to let you guys know that everything I was asked for, as far as I know, was presented and given.
Okay, good.
Oh, absolutely. We worked all email on weekends and all kinds of stuff getting that ready.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate
And you know, I was
that.
comfortable
that
with the
was,
numbers. If I wasn't comfortable with the numbers, I would have made that statement. But, you know, them are good numbers to go off of.
Yeah.
You know, then the Cume Bridge shortfall is potential.
Sure.
A lot of that's going to depend on the projects and the timing and the cost of the bids.
Right.
And they tried to make the point that that was a certainty. And I said, no, it's not a certainty. It's just a lot depends
No,
on
we
that.
were clear about that in the commissioner, or the council meeting too, that was,
Yeah.
that was a
yeah.
maybe,
You know,
so.
He's trying to spin this.
You know, it's hard to say, just like this Bridge 132, when we first looked at this project a year ago, I budgeted this year, per the estimate, was 230,000. It just bid for 449.
Right.
Yeah.
A big
So-
$250,000 is a lot of money.
And then once the project got started and going through, then I get an updated engineer's estimate when it's complete. So my NBIS book is all estimates. So, you know, I'm looking at that, so we may be behind a lot, or we may be fine, I don't know. But
Well, and, you know, the climate we're in today, trying to crystal ball any of this stuff out is just pointless, really. I mean, you know, that Cedar Creek Bank project was a good example of that.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
in 4 months, it went almost doubled. Or, you know, it was up 150,000 or something like that. You know, well, and that bridge that you just mentioned, you know, $250,000 difference, so,
Bridge on Morning Star. That's another one.
well, yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point, yeah,
yeah, look how much that's changed
Yeah.
yeah.
at the few times we looked at it. Went from, what, 800,000 to well over 1 million?
Yeah.
Well,
Million
County
four
Road
or something
56
like
is
that.
another one, you know.
So, I don't know, that's why.
Hard to say.
we're
That's
trying
why I'm saying that they can give us as much as they want. We can spend it.
We'll figure it out.
And that's not being fiscally irresponsible. I'm not saying we'd be irresponsible. I'm just saying there is a need. It's evident. What more do you want?
Yeah.
There it is, council. There's your numbers. Act appropriately. If you say no tax, I'm good with that. Just remember that nothing's going to get converted. And roads may not get repaired the way they
Well,
should
they
be.
won't be. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I
no-
mean-
There's no way.
Yeah.
if we're $950,000 short on maintenance, just to keep our roads where they're at now, and the funding's not there, I mean, it's way past not doing any conversions. We're not gonna be able to maintain what we've got.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So, like I said, whatever you guys give us, we'll work with. I mean,
That's all you can do.
that's all we're gonna do. We'll
That's all
do a
you
lot
can
of
do.
berming and brush clean. I mean, there's things to do. It's not that we won't have nothing to do.
No,
It's just the point.
improvement of the road might be,
Improvement of the roads, and there's gonna be fixes that won't be as nice or as long, longevity possibly. We'll have to do with what's in our budget means.
And I keep telling people, call Indianapolis, call your rep. That's all, I just keep telling them that.
what I'd like to have is half of the sales tax money generated in DeKalb County to return to us. We can cancel out every other tax. One half of the sales tax generated here, we can, property tax, lighted tax, we can get rid of them all. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Rick, I'm gonna tell you guys one thing, just so you guys know, Rick hits me up all the time about County Road 40 going into Noble County. That was on a CCMG project a few years ago. We paid from 36A west to County Road 5. We stopped at County Road 5 because we was afraid if we submitted a different work type that needed done from 5 to Noble County line, it may not get funded. Because that road is deteriorated enough between them two that we actually need to go in there and grind that and relay that and resurface that. So we stopped at 5. So I am aware of that short section. Our paved section and Noble County's paved section are identical, same width, blacktop. The only thing that's different is Noble County striped theirs. Ours is not striped. And striping does
So the
add
width
a
is the
cosmetic
same.
look.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the same road.
okay.
It's just, we have that half-mile section between the two that I'm aware of. Just we haven't gotten there yet, but it's in my plan to get there. You know,
And this is why we don't second guess Ben. In other words, the council wants to get in here and try to dictate what we do is what they're really kind of saying. Well, this road, that, no, like you said, you didn't throw that in there because CCMG, they might have said, hey, no, that needs that, we're not going to fund it. Ben made that determination. Do we have faith in our department head or not? I do. That's why I go by these numbers.
Well, that's what gets discouraging, because you get second guessed all the time, and,
Yeah.
And people don't ask, they don't understand, or they just don't ask.
You don't leave roads in bad repair on purpose.
No.
There's a method to the madness, and I stay out of it because I'm not a road builder,
Well, me either. You hire people who know what they're doing, just
Right.
get the hell out of their way.
Get the
and
hell
let
out
them
of
do
the
their
way.
job.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is in my plan to finish. It
Okay.
just- Things got changed this
Sure.
year's projects, money, and up till that unofficial detour, it hardly gets used. So it wasn't an extreme emergency. NDOT sometimes don't give me a heads up on these projects. Is what I bring that unofficial up here for on State Road 8, because they forgot to give it to me till a couple months before the project started. And that happens, we're all busy, I get it. And that happens pretty regular with NDOT. You cannot pre-plan enough for their unofficial detour. And then even if we did, there's routes that we've picked.
Right.
It's unofficial detour, and the stinking vehicle, people go the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes no sense to go the other way, but that's the way they're going.
Yeah.
So it's a gamble. So that's why when we pick that unofficial detour, we take our best educated guess of what route traffic's gonna go, because that is the route that NDOT will reimburse us for. The road's gotta be closed for 7 consecutive days or longer before we can have an unofficial. So if it's just closed for a couple, 2 or 3 days, it's our own risk.
What's the difference between an unofficial and official road
An
closure?
unofficial detour is what we establish, we can post it or not post it, but they're not going to. It is the route that we feel the traffic's going to run to go around their closure.
I see.
The official detour is the state road detours
Got ya.
that they have posted.
Okay.
So that's the difference on it. Now, we can post those if we want to post it unofficial and have them run a certain route, but I try not to, because ultimately, the majority of our roads are not built for state highway traffic.
Right.
Just like that going up around County Road 5 they did. That is not built for semi-tractor trailers. Be sitting in an intersection, have semi-tractor trailers turn in. They're rural county roads. They're not built for
Right.
No, they don't have
3,500
enough
cars a
turn
day.
radius to-
No.
Roll
And that
asphalt,
is
too.
a hard guesstimate to make.
Yeah.
You know, you shoot your best guess at it and you run with it. And a lot of times they split it. We had over here, you know how many cars was going south off of 8 on the 3 down through the mouse hole up into 48 in Altona, because Altona called me, it was all bent out of shape about all the cars going that way. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. You know, that's why they started the speed bumps and stuff again over there this year,
Oh, did they?
because of the added traffic. If people was going into Garrett, they went that way. If
What
they was
road's
going
that
to
on?
Auburn, 48,
Oh, yeah, okay.
that goes in Altona.
Altona, yeah.
You know, so it just, we do what we can, we do the best we can, and
That's all we can do.
all we can do.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Okay.
anything
What else
else
you
for
got?
me today?
that's it.
We just had the ordinance, and I'm not sure if
Yeah, that County Road 20 ordinance, second and third reading.
Ben had called me up, or we were talking about something else maybe, and then he talked about the speed limit ordinance. The one that I had drafted, I had not found one that had been done in the past by the commissioners or by Jim McCanna, and Ben pulled one up and emailed it to me, and it's got some changes to it from our original wording that I kind of like. It goes into the, I guess, a little bit more detail behind the reason for it. Is that, you've got a copy that you passed around?
There's a couple errors down here I didn't correct, but I drafted that up and sent that.
I like the language in that better. It was, I didn't have a chance to get to that when I had to develop it just within a couple of days, and I didn't get a chance to go through my, I guess, my normal process of developing it. And I would have liked to have found another example of it in the past, and I just went off another ordinance. So my language will work, but I like this language a lot better.
I feel.
And I appreciate Ben bringing that up, so.
Fine with me.
I don't,
we
yeah.
want to wait then until next week.
Well, so then I guess that's the question is, Ben can shoot
I can make those corrections in the
and
bottom.
shoot that to Susan. I already looked over the language, so, but so the question is then, do we have to re-vote on it again? Because the substance of it is not changed, but the additional whereas clauses are changing.
My understanding is we can change between the first reading and second and
Second
third.
reading, yeah, you can
Yeah,
change
can
certain
amend
things, so.
An ordinance between
Yeah.
the first and.
And you're not changing the substance of it, you're not
Right.
changing the
Right.
length of road or anything like
And
that.
this one
so.
also defines the violations and things in it, I feel is important to have as well.
Yeah.
It just,
Okay.
I liked it.
It
that's why I said
responds
I'll-
to the it lists the NERC study a little bit better, I think, and mentions the 85th percentile speed, which
You wanna
really
read
connects
the-
in with this, because they're going 45 already on the road.
Yeah.
So I like that paragraph in there. I just think it's gonna be a little bit better worded that way.
You want to read the third whereas on the front page, Bill?
We'll just need to.
That's the
we
main
should probably do this
difference.
next week.
Probably,
In
I
that
think so, it'd be
ordinance.
better.
We can
Section-
print
section
everything.
two.
Yes, and have it.
Let me
yeah.
see
Oh,
it.
third
Yep.
Have an
whereas.
accurate.
The DeKalb County Commissioners have received the Northeastern Indiana Regional Coordinating Council study completed on May 31st, 2023. That was,
If you want to read the rest of that, but that's the
Yeah.
main change to it.
I think I mentioned the NERC study, but I like how it mentions the 85th percentile. It links it in a little bit stronger there, that the cars were already going 45 miles an hour on that road, so I like the language that is in there.
Was this ordinance published or
This-
was on the
The
website?
original was, so that's why I'm saying, I think it would be
Well-
best if we made the updates, and then if we could put it on the agenda for next week with all of the updates that Andrew and Ben have, and then I can
We-
repost it.
We can read all of the amendments today.
Right.
And amend the original ordinance and then still do second and third reading.
Right.
We just have to read the amendments.
We have to read the amendments.
Anything that's different from the original ordinance will have to be read. And then
Okay.
we're okay
I would
to go
agree
ahead
with
with
that.
second and third reading.
Well, if you're going to read that, let me make a couple of corrections on that bottom for you read it correctly.
Yeah, instead of just the crossouts?
Yeah.
Assuming you want to go ahead and do it
Sure.
today.
I had this done and I was a
I
little
think you're
aggravated
correct,
when I left the office and I forgot it.
I know I am.
You know you are, right?
That one I'm sure of.
Yeah.
I
You're
was
usually
wrong-
pretty
I
good
was-
on.
I was wrong about the surveyor's office.
Yeah, that was, but you're usually pretty good on procedural stuff. You you've got that pretty well versed, so I think that's,
I see in a text from Susan that she recommends that we wait until next week, that it be to repost with the agenda for next week, but I don't know if she's responding to the same thing that, like you had just said, Mike, or not.
well, she was sick.
No, yeah.
Can't get away from her even when she's sick.
Whatever you guys think, but I think if we just read this ordinance and then
I think,
vote on it as amended, we're okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's get it out of the way, off our table.
Okay, that should be fine. Just read the corrections I made.
in section
Because it would be
2.
20, 23 to County Road 27 under speed violations.
Is that-
Everything else, I believe, is correct.
Everything else is the same as the original ordinance?
No,
Well,
the whole thing's
whereas.
different.
Okay, so we need to read the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a total different ordinance.
Yeah, we need to read the whole ordinance then.
Do you want me to just read this whole ordinance since I have it in my hand here?
Yeah.
You guys
If
good
you
with
don't
that?
mind.
That's fine.
Your focus is better than mine.
So I'm going to read the whole ordinance. Ordinance number 2023-R-6, DeKalb County Code Section 9-1-1-39, DeKalb County Commissioners, speed limit on County Road 20 from its intersection with County Road 23 and going east to County Road 27. Whereas the DeKalb County Commissioners have commissioned a study by the Northeastern Indiana Regional Coordinating Council to make recommendations regarding a speed limit in that area, and here's these whereases. Whereas DeKalb County has control of County Road 20 between County Road 23 and County Road 27. Whereas the DeKalb County Commissioners have reviewed the Northeastern Indiana Regional Coordinating Council study completed on May 31st, 2023. Whereas the DeKalb County Commissioners have referenced the Indiana MUT-CD Section 2B.13, number 12. When a speed limit is posted within a speed zone is posted, it should be within 5 mile per hour of the 85th percentile speed of free-flowing traffic. Therefore, the County Commissioners is changing the speed speed limit of County Road 20 from its intersection with County Road 23 and running east to County Road 27 to be set at 45 mile per hour in accordance with Indiana Code 9-21-5. Now, therefore, it hereby ordained by the DeKalb County Commissioners of DeKalb County, Indiana, that Section 1, 45 mile per hour speed limit, there is hereby established a maximum speed limit over and along County Road 20 running easterly from its intersection with County Road 23 to County Road 27 to be at 45 mile per hour. Section 2, speed violations. Violators of the ordinance may be charged with a traffic summons issued by any enforcement officer of any government jurisdiction on the roadway of County Road 20 from its intersection with County Road 23 and running easterly ending at County Road 27. DeKalb County Prosecutor, Section 2.1, the DeKalb County Prosecuting Attorney is authorized to prosecute any violation of this ordinance. Section 2.2, any court of DeKalb County, Indiana having general traffic jurisdiction shall be empowered to process such charges as violations of the law similar to other speeding violations of the Indiana Code. Section 2.3, any existing penalties for such violations shall be applied to this ordinance and be imposed for any such violations. Section 3, effective date. This ordinance shall become effective after passage of third reading as adopted by the DeKalb County Commissioners and publication of this ordinance thereafter as required by law. Section 4, ordinance codified. The DeKalb County ordinance, excuse me.
Yeah, all right?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Make it either,
This
right?
DeKalb County ordinance number 2023-R-6 is passed and adopted on all three readings and shall be codified in the DeKalb County Code as Section 9-1-1-39 and appropriately indexed in the code. Read and passed on first reading, Monday, August 7th, 2023. Do I continue on with that so we stop there, correct?
Yep.
So, there we are.
All we need is a motion, second and third reading.
I'd make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2023-R-6 on second and third reading. As amended.
Do I have a second? A second?
No, go ahead.
I will second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same.
Aye.
2 to 1 passes.
Does it still have to have its third reading though next week?
No.
No,
Oh, that
Okay,
was,
second.
So you
That was-
voted against?
that was second and third reading.
Right, okay, because I know you said it couldn't pass all on the same time unless all three of you
Well,
agreed.
it takes a unanimous vote to suspend the rules.
Rules for that.
To do all three readings on the same day.
But for second and third, it's okay?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
great.
We couldn't do all three because we weren't unified in that vote.
And you're not doing all three today, you're just doing second and third?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. So
Okay.
we're spot on.
Y'all
All right.
done? Anything else, Ben?
Now, so next week, you guys can sign the back one. Well, actually, this date needs to change. So I'll have to get you another one.
Okay.
Sign it next week.
We'll sign it next week, but we voted
Okay.
on it, so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will send that to you as soon as I get back.
All right, Susan, I think you're up.
Okay, all right. So I just have a couple agreements. The first one is with Development Services regarding a terminal replacement for value payment systems. So their swipe reader hasn't been working since the beginning of the year. I'm not sure if you had been told that or not, but
Who's swipe reader again?
Development Services,
Oh, okay.
Chris's office. And so he finally got a hold of somebody, and they've attached an agreement and said that they're going to get the ball rolling and fix it for him. That's the agreement there. Andrew has reviewed that, Susan
Yep.
said.
I was
So
okay with that.
It's been
Okay.
reviewed.
Who do we use for other credit card processing services? Are we all unified in every office? Are we
I
all
don't-
using everyone else?
I do not know that. I know in the clerk's office it was through PayGov, but I'm not sure what Chris is, if he actually has a terminal or, like over there, it was all electronic, so it was on through the computer. I'm not sure if that's what he uses or not. But I can ask him.
Only reason I ask, there's, I hate credit card merchant services. It's just such a, the contract is so ambiguous, it's so hard to figure out what you're actually paying in fees, and then equipment gets supplied, and then it's this charge, but if you know, I don't know, we went to that Square deal where we just, Square, but, they gotta use what they need to use, of course, but I just didn't know if anyone reviewed this other than Chris, or is there someone that oversees who we choose as credit card processors from a,
I don't know.
I mean, if Chris is good with this, I have no problem with it, but
And
Mike, I mean, what's your
No,
thoughts?
I'm okay with it.
You're okay
Well,
with
and
it?
that kind of a question is a little bit outside my purview. You're kind of like saying, is it financially the best
Yeah, or is it,
option and with fees and everything, and I don't know
is this a
that.
long-term contract? Did you read that, is there a,
There is, thinking, I'll see if I can find my notes on it. I believe there was maybe yearly on that. Okay, so let's see.
Generally, those are annual contracts with a.
Yes, it's annual unless one party notifies the other in writing more than 90 days ahead of time, it reapplies annually. So it is a
Oh, here
1
we
year.
are. Yeah.
It's a 1 year, Todd.
1 year?
If they
I'm good
don't
with
like it or
that.
you think it's bad financially, they can
No,
send a
no,
notice.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I just, as long as we're not signing into a 5-year
Yes,
agreement
yeah,
and there's
yep.
fees to get out, that.
It's an
that-
annual renewal, annual renewal.
I have no problem with that. Then I'd make a motion that we enter this agreement for development
I'll
services.
second.
a motion and a second. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Oh, excuse me.
Is that your writing? I'll say, that's nice.
Okay,
I have two more.
just keep coming,
It's a pain in the butt today.
just
and I
keep it,
apologize.
just keep it.
All right, the second agreement is for a pharmacy agreement. A while back, Michelle Fosno with Community Corrections stopped in. This was streamlined and she had explained it all to us. And basically, this is the agreement for that she presented to you.
The way I understand it, the residents pay for their own. We're not paying for these drugs, so
Correct.
it's just the agreement of the prepackaged drugs similar
Yeah,
to
and that's the same.
Sunny Meadows.
Exactly the same as Sunny
company.
Meadows.
Same company.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'd make a motion that we sign the pharmacy agreement for community corrections.
I'll second that, too.
Motion and a second. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Excuse me. By the way, just brings up, you see the jail numbers today were 108. You know, if you got that email, so we're hovering right around that 105 to 110 pretty consistently. So
Yeah.
hopefully this is a summer issue. It goes away some in the winter, I don't know. Because we were seeing numbers as low as the mid 80s for a while there. And
Oh, really?
yeah, which we really are kind of limited to that due to classification. We have to classify inmates. So it'll be interesting to watch those numbers going into fall.
Yeah, I think community corrections was still at 39 or something.
Yeah.
So that's holding steady.
Yeah, they're holding pretty steady, so.
I was surprised. Allen County's jail has, what, 550? It seems like they ought to be, I don't know, proportionally a little bit higher than that. I don't know. But
Well, there's what,
maybe not.
is there 300,000 in the city or 300,000 in the county in Allen County? The city is 300,000.
City's
I think the county's a little over
260,000 or
that.
something.
So the county's 300 and some
I
thousand?
think so.
So they're 9 times bigger than us?
3 times.
And only 5 times larger on the, or maybe a little bit more than that.
I'm not sure there is, I thought 1,200.
I think they have
I
1,000.
think they have 1,000.
Yeah, I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah, the
I don't
new
know why I
jail's
thought it
supposed
was.
to
The new
1,200.
jail's over 1,000.
Yeah, the new jail.
Oh, yeah, they're
Their
overcrowded.
current
They're
jail
being
is
sued.
terrible.
Oh, they have so many problems, it's not funny.
Okay.
And that's because they kicked the can down the road forever. And same problem we have.
Yeah, I thought they only had like 550 now.
I think you might be right.
Which
They-
proportionally is a lot smaller than
Yeah,
what you
they
would
need
think
tw-
they would need.
I think the new jail is a 1,200 bed.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Whereas ours, we settled on what, 200 and some beds, Mike? Was it-
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
225. Allen County population's 388,608.
Yeah,
Okay.
Slightly bigger.
slightly. We have the holiday schedule for next year. Did everybody get that email? What's your thoughts?
I can't do the Juneteenth. I think that's doubling up. And it's not well-defined either. Nationally. It was one that everyone just kind of bandwagoned on, and I don't think it's appropriate.
Yep, and it was only brought up to us as it's now recognized, they said, as a federal holiday, so that's why we presented it.
Right.
So we just need to know if you're recognizing it or not today, and then.
Right. No, I get it. I appreciate you bringing it up. I'm just not, I don't recognize it, so.
I would like to see Martin Luther King Jr. Day combined in with President's Day. We have so many holidays there at the first of the year. It seems like we're going to skip 2 meetings. Christmas Day, January 1st, we are skipped. We do have a meeting on evidently this 8th. And we have another skip on the 15th. I'd like to see those combined and bring us back to 12 paid holidays.
I think I could go for that too, because I was looking, we pay for New Year's, or for Christmas Eve and Christmas both.
Right.
And even when they fall on weekends, we pay them, even for people who don't work on the weekends. So I think we're more than fair on that policy.
How many paid holidays did we have this year?
13.
13.
13.
Yeah, I think one a month on average is very sufficient.
I think it's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
You won't find that anywhere near that in the private sector.
And Juneteenth, it's, no, we don't.
Well, it's just, it's just not well-defined. I mean, it's,
I don't disagree on the pick of the holiday with the Juneteenth, but, you know, given the pressure that we're already putting on on the budget in terms of increased wages and so forth, I'm real hesitant to take away a holiday.
You realize, of course, the holidays are a drag on the budget.
Yeah,
So we're talking about wages. We give all these holidays, that takes away from their wages.
well, I understand that, but just in terms of recruiting, if our, well,
Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, that's all right. Like I said, I'm just hesitant to take anything
Sure.
away. I'm also hesitant to add anything too, but that's just my thoughts.
I don't think paid time off working for this county is a problem when it comes to recruiting. That's the last of our problems. We have sufficient time off with PTO holidays and the 35-hour work week for a good portion of our work staff.
well, and like I said, I understand what Mike's saying. I just think with paying Christmas Eve and Christmas, especially when they don't even fall on a work day a lot of times,
Yeah.
I think you know, most businesses are 5 or 6 paid holidays. So, because everyone talks about, well, people want private sector pay, but they want government hours. And those two just don't go to, so there's a compromise somewhere. And I think 12 is, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then the PTO we offer is pretty amazing. The 35-hour work week we offer for a lot of the jobs, not the 24/7s, is pretty amazing. The pension's amazing.
Yeah.
So the health insurance, I think, is pretty good, even though we've had a few people not do well with it. Overall, I think we really looked out for the interest of our employees by reducing most of the cost. Now, some people didn't get a break because they were forced into the higher insurance, but they didn't get an increase and got better coverage. So I think we are looking out for our employee pretty hard. I think 12 holidays is quite a bit.
And I would remind everybody that an employee with 20 years of service is working approximately 9 months out of the year.
Right,
When you consider the 35-hour work week and the holidays and the PTO.
right. It's a good gig.
Yeah.
I see both sides of this. I'm just saying I think this is a good compromise compared to the private sector especially.
I do too. Motion?
That'd be my motion. Your thoughts combining the two and no Juneteenth.
Second?
No.
I'll second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same?
Aye.
2-1, motion carries. You want that back? I can keep that.
Oh my gosh.
Jody, what else?
Oh, two.
Oh, come on.
Acid reflux or what?
All right, Andrew, if you have
I don't have
anything.
anything else.
Mike, anything else?
Nope, that's all I had.
Todd,
I have
anything?
one thing just real quick. I met with an employee about the insurance, and I putting her to Dottie, but I wanted you to make aware of it since this person showed me, as a matter of fact, they went on the Surest app to look for their doctor, and it said, oh, $30 copay. So she took a picture of it. And then next day she went on to make the appointment, and it said $35 copay. And she was like, well, it's $5, I don't care, but I'd like to know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Shows up to the doctor, and they say, well, we show you to have no copay. And then she gets a bill a month later for $35, which is what she, but the big one was this medicine this person takes is $1,100 a month, and it was covered in July. When we signed up, they covered it. No $60 that person had to pay to get it. However, when went to renew in August, went to renew August 9th for that prescription. They rejected it, says it's not covered. And they said, well, how is it not covered when it was covered last month? Well, we changed that policy August 1st. Yet, when the person applied for it on August 7th, it was approved, according to the app, but then the doctor, the pharmacy said, no, it's been rejected now. And I have a problem with if we are trying to save money by cutting off our prescriptions to people that were covered 1 month, it should at least be covered for the rest of the year. Now, if they want to negotiate and say, hey, we're not going to cover that drug anymore because it's just too darn expensive. But when someone expects it, when they get it the first month, they should get it for the rest of the term. And it has to do, but I am going to have this person speak directly with Dottie because Dottie's involved with Tyler there.
Well, yeah.
And they can come up,
They
but.
need to take that up the chain and see if they can't get an exception made.
But if we have any control over this as commissioners, I think we need to step up and make sure anyone that was covered the first month should be covered throughout the duration on those drugs. I just don't think it's right to pull it away from them the next month.
No, I agree.
So, I mean, we're in agreement with that I sent her to Dottie, then hopefully Dottie can work it out. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Okay, all right. That's all I really had on extras.
I just got one thing and it just got handed to me by Larry. We got a quote from Web Concrete, the 4 concrete pads and wall installed, 3,000 each, $12,000.
How much?
12,000 total
Oh,
for the 4 pads.
how much was CISA's quote?
6,000. Not to
6,000.
exceed 6,000.
Wow, same basically description?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cut and dried as far as, you cut out enough rooms that,
Not much variation you can do on that.
Well, that's kind of a
Also, it's
no-brainer to let
gold
CIS
plated.
do it then, I guess. I mean, half the price, right?
or not do it at all. Is there
Or not do
another
it at all.
option?
I have no problem doing it if I think the city is doing a great job of cleaning, making it look nice, the new street lights, and this is the county seat and the courthouse sits in the middle of it. I think it needs to look
I think we
right.
have some obligation to.
Yeah.
What do we pay out of?
Council's money.
We pay it out highway.
Attorney salary.
I pay it out of 62.
Legal has a problem with that. so.
Out of which one?
62.
Legal has a problem.
62.
County building improvements.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, 62.
So if you need a motion, I'll make a motion to have Larry proceed with cease to do the concrete work.
For 6,000, not to
For
exceed
6, not to
6,000.
exceed 6,000.
I would second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same.
I think it'll look nice. I really do.
Yeah, it will.
It carries. Anything else? Anyone? We are done. Thank you,
right.
everybody. Thank you, Jody. Good job.
Good job, Jody.
Hello? Hello?
You ever been